Survivors are the heart of Relay. To share her story, please welcome Hero of Hope, Natalie McQueen.
So my introduction to cancer came about when I was in elementary school. I came home from school one day and found my mom lying face down on her bed, sobbing hysterically. Being the astute child that I was, I asked her what was wrong. She sat up and dried her tears and told me that Grandma had just been diagnosed with cancer. But Mom assured me that the doctor said it was a slow-growing cancer and that Grandma would never die from it. Okay. When I was in middle school, my mom and dad brought me into the living room and sat me down. They told me that my mom had just been diagnosed with the same kind of cancer that my grandma had. But her doctor said it was a slow-growing cancer and that my mom would never die from it. A few years after that, my grandmother died from her cancer. 6 months later, my own mother died. But right before my mom died, my dad brought a Polaroid camera home from work. How many of you remember Polaroid cameras? Any? Wow, that's an old crowd out there. So he brought this camera home, and my mother hated having her picture taken. She would either offer to take the picture, or she would stand in the back behind everybody else. But this time she didn't do that. She let my dad take her picture. And I have that picture framed on my bedside table, and I look at it all the time. Of course, we didn't know it would be the last picture ever taken of my mom. But what I see now as an adult that I didn't see when I was a kid are all the swollen lymph nodes in her neck. So I grew up and got married and had 3 children of my own. One day I sat down on my own couch and I brushed my hand across my neck and I felt a lump. I knew exactly what that meant. So in June of 2006, I was diagnosed with follicular lymphoma, very similar kind of cancer to what killed my mother and my grandmother. But I started treatment. I was sick as a dog, didn't agree with me very much. And a friend called me up and said, there's this class called Look Good, Feel Better, and if you go, you get free makeup. Well, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I'm not very motivated by free makeup. But I decided to go anyhow, and as luck would have it, I felt pretty good that day. So I was kind of excited. And I got in a big room, not quite this big, with a bunch of tables, and a lot of women sitting there. And they looked really, really glum. And I thought, oh, I'm wasting a good day in here with these people. And with that, the woman sitting across the table from me grabbed her wig and she ripped it off her head. And I thought, okay, we are here for a party. And I tell you, it was a blast that day. That was so much fun. It was a gift. So I finished my chemo and I was in remission. And then I went back for my 3-month checkup. And I was devastated to find out that I'd relapsed already. I had a tumor growing in my left groin. And with my history with my mother and my grandmother, I didn't have much hope. I pretty much knew what was going to happen to me. So I then saw a blurb in our local paper, and it said that there was a Relay for Life coming. And if you went, you got a free t-shirt. I don't care about makeup, but who doesn't need a new shirt? I can tell you, every single person in this room doesn't need a new shirt. So I went on the day of the relay, and this woman handed me my shirt and said, well, you're a survivor, you go line up over there, they're gonna start the survivor lap. Well, I had just relapsed. I knew I was gonna die. The last thing I wanted to do was go walk in some stupid survivor lap. But she had just given me a free shirt. So I thought, well, okay, I'll go do it. So I lined up and we started walking. And what I didn't expect were all these people lining the track, cheering and clapping for me. Okay, I know there were other people in purple shirts around me, but it really felt like these people were clapping for me. It was absolutely magical. I felt like I was in my own Disneyland parade. So I kept going back for scans, and eventually my tumor started to change, and it made the doctors nervous. So they decided they were going to take it out, this one tumor. I had it growing in my left groin. And they were going to take it out and biopsy it. And my oncologist shook her finger at me and she said, you know, this is not going to be a cure. That cancer is going to come back here, and it's going to come back here, and it's going to come back here. So remember that survivor lap? That's what I really enjoyed. So I got very involved in relay. That was a lot more fun than my doctor. So because of my involvement with relay, I eventually got invited to this breakfast they give for doctors who've received money from the American Cancer Society to do research. And at this breakfast, a doctor got up and spoke, and she talked about follicular lymphoma. And what she said was that the new theory then was that lymphoma had stem cells, and if you could kill the stem cells, you could cure the lymphoma. Well, I Googled my kind of cancer a lot, and it always said it was slow-growing and incurable. This was the first time I'd ever heard anybody use the word cure with my kind of cancer. So I had to go home and think about that for a while. And what I decided, even though my medical degree has not come in the mail yet, was that, you know, that tumor they took out must have had the stem cells in it, because every scan I had after that was clear. I had no cancer growing here, and no cancer growing here, and no cancer growing here. It's been a number of years. I am still cancer-free. But wait, this isn't about me. My children have never heard me say that. Excuse me. So because of this crazy journey I've been on, I am blessed to become the concierge of the Cancer Center of El Camino Hospital. And I have to tell you, not one day goes by in my job where I do not recommend either an American Cancer Society class or program to one of our patients. And I want to thank you for that. That is because of the work that you do in Relay that I'm able to offer that to our patients. And it's because of the work you do at Relay that you fund the doctors that do the research. And maybe they didn't save my life, but they really gave me back my life. And the work you do, you put on those relays where those survivors come out and walk those laps, and they feel like they are in their own parade. And I want to thank you for that. So thank you. Yeah, that's what you do. So my name is Natalie McQueen. I am a society volunteer. I am a relayer, and I am winning.